Well, good afternoon. I am so pleased to welcome all of you to the Fall 2022 Award Ceremony, one of the best things that we do on this campus to recognize our colleagues. If you don't have a seat yet, please feel free to take a seat and we'll get started. So my name is Chia Vine. I'm the Vice Chancellor for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I'm also a professor of history. And today I am so delighted to serve as your MC for this significant award ceremony. For the first consecutive year, the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee is hosting this ceremony to honor remarkable faculty and staff. We welcome our colleagues to this celebration, both here in the Helen Bader Council Hall, as well as, I believe, those who might be viewing remotely. So, over the course of the next hour or so, we will recognize 30 individuals who have made or are making significant, valuable contributions to our university. We know that their contributions are enormously valuable because these awardees were nominated by their peers. And as you all know, as well as I do, that our peers are the most astute and discerning judges. Over the course of the year, university organizations make announcements asking for nominations for individuals for awards, and those are the ones that we will be bestowing today. If you would like more information about the nominating procedure, please feel free to visit the Office of the Secretary of the University. So please join me in recognizing those who are here today from our UWM community, helping to make this program wonderful this afternoon. Our musical interludes in today's program are provided by Don Linke. Don is a lecturer in jazz guitar here at UWM. He taught at the college level for more than 30 years and continues to be one of the most notable jazz musicians here in the area. This is the 20th year, I believe, that he has been providing musical interludes for our award ceremony. So thank you so much, Don. Presenters on stage this afternoon is Susan Cashin, clinical professor in the College of Health Sciences. Thank you, Sue. Our American Sign Language interpreter today is Liz Wick. Thank you, Liz. And finally, I'd like to welcome to the stage the leader of our university. Will you all please welcome UW Chancellor Mark Moning.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Chia. This is a wonderful, wonderful day to be here. It's one of the highlights of the year, as you know, academically, for us to be able to recognize the incredible accomplishments and the real contributions of so many individuals who've made UWM what it is today. So thank you, Chia, and welcome to all of you for being here. I do want to start today with a few comments that I offer every time I speak with regents and every time I have an opportunity where there's public and campus audiences. I really want to underscore what this campus is all about. As you know, we're the only campus in the UW system that has a dual mission of access and research, both of which are vitally important and never more important than what we're doing today and what the world absolutely needs, as well as our region, community, and world. By virtue of what the legislature requires and what our regents have endorsed, we have that select mission. It's a unique responsibility. It's one that we deliver upon so well, and it's really part of our DNA. I remember when she was Associate Dean Jasmine Allender in the College of Letters and Science talked about the unique qualities that attract, but especially retain our faculty and staff, and that is how we make a difference in this community. And why we're today at Carnegie engaged, community engaged, as well as at Carnegie Research One. There's 350 Carnegie engaged universities. There's 146 research Carnegie One universities. If you put the Venn diagram together where those two overlap, there's only 79 that are both. 79 universities in this country that are Carnegie R1 and Carnegie engaged. We're one of those 79. It's pretty rare, it's pretty special, and that's us. The contributions of the individuals today are why we have achieved and have continued to make that type of difference. There's nothing else like it. I'm very fortunate to work with a lot of different universities in the state in a lot of different ways. And they all recognize that, and they really want to support us through partnerships and activities that we have pathways, opportunities, and access for research, for student learning, and a number of different things. This campus and you responds innovatively, immediately, to meet the needs that Wisconsin has and well beyond. It's about employment, it's about economic development, education, public health, water, and beyond, and many, many areas that we're going to hear about today in terms of the areas of excellence that are noted in the achievements. We work with others on vital advocacy, influence, policy changes, particularly for underrepresented communities. We recognize the challenges are so deep, they're so immense and vast, we can't do it alone. As big as we are, there's so much more that needs to be done, and that's why these partnerships are critical. But what you do at UWM changes lives, improves people's livelihoods, creates incredible opportunity, thousands of students a year at a time. I'm not just talking about the 5,300 who graduate every year from UW-Milwaukee, but in fact, the 24,000 students that are on our campuses every day. And when I say campuses, I'm so proud of the different communities that we impact in Washington County, in Waukesha, the types of things that we do downtown, things that we do in the School of Freshwater Sciences, Zilbert College of Public Health, on our main campus, out at the Innovation Campus, what we're doing in terms of so many places where we touch individuals and make such a difference. Our awardings today are finally important, but they represent, frankly, just a portion of all the great things that are happening. Throughout the ceremony, you're going to hear a lot of these remarkable stories. It's about our faculty and staff, those of you who are here to help us celebrate our wonderful awardees. I know you're going to be just as impressed with and proud of them as I am. Chia, back to you. Will you tell us about our first award recipient?
Thank you, Chancellor. Our first award category is the Faculty Distinguished Undergraduate Teaching Award. These awards recognize this demonstrated excellence in the classroom teaching and include a certificate as well as $1,500. Chancellor Loney will distribute 4 of these honors this afternoon.
Thank you, Chia. Sarah Benish, Professor Benish, teaches courses on American politics, methods, and law studies. Her course on law, through popular culture, gives students valuable insights into how court actions and decisions are reflected in popular media. One student had this to say about Dr. Benish. She was always enthusiastic and energized, which kept me interested, engaged, and curious about the course material. Dr. Benish is the kind of professor that compels a student to want to do well in class. Those are pretty high words of praise. As a nationally known scholar of judicial decision-making and appeals courts, she takes students beyond the textbooks. For example, in her class on the Supreme Court, she involves them in multiple simulations covering the court's decisions to hear cases, oral arguments, and the process of establishing a legal rationale to justify their rulings. Sarah, will you please join us on stage to accept this award? Dr. Christine Evans' classes are regularly filled to capacity. She focuses on Imperial Russia and Soviet history and historical methods. Dr. Evans brings in readings that generate discussion beyond the textbook. I couldn't think of anything that's more relevant to the world today. For example, students read Mikhail Bulgakov's Heart of the Dog, discussing how the book reflected life in the revolutionary period of the 1920s. Dr. Evans encourages student researchers and helps students plan their careers. One of her students wrote of the impact of her class, quote, "Growing up in the 80s and going through school subsequently taught me nearly nothing about the Russian people, only that the Soviet Union was the enemy. This class taught me how and why it became what it was. This should be taken by every one of my generation and after." Pretty powerful. You have made quite an impression on your students, Christine. Will you please come forward? Andrew Kincaid has taught an impressive array of courses, including courses in Irish Studies, 20th century British literature, literary and cultural theory, and specialized courses in urbanism and modernism, Samuel Beckett and Oceanic literatures. He immerses students through Irish music performances or attendance at Beckett Theater productions. In his novel and sea course, he took the entire class on the Denisovan schooner for some experiential learning of maritime culture. He encourages his students to become good writers, careful thinkers, and social critical citizens. One of his students wrote, quote, "Dr. Kincaid is an amazing instructor. He was incredibly knowledgeable about the subject matter, and he encouraged intellectual, in-class discussion. He took a subject that I was only sort of interested in and turned it into my favorite class at UWM," unquote. That's really neat. My congratulations and thank you, Andrew. Will you please come forward? Jonathan Whitlinger teaches across the German program curriculum from first semester German through upper division undergraduate seminars on the 1920s Germany, popular music, German art movement, and more. He is an innovator in the classroom, bringing in multiple media and fresh approaches. His class on hip-hop in Germany, for example, shows how different cultures navigate German identity through music, culture, rebellion, and conformity. He was instrumental in developing online courses for the first 4 semesters of German, opening German to a greater number of students. Dr. Whitlinger is the best professor I've had at UWM, wrote one student at an evaluation. He is accommodating and empathetic with his students. I have learned more from him than any other instructor so far. Well done, Jonathan. Will you please come forward to accept your award?
Faculty Distinguished Public Service Award. This award recognizes and rewards outstanding service to the university. This year's recipient will receive a certificate and $1,500, which will be awarded by Chancellor Maloney.
This is a delightful award category, as they all are. This one is particularly important meeting because our recipient is so special to our campus. Dr. Kim Mosier integrates her passions for art and social justice. She is co-founder of Arts Eco, which is the arts education community ecosystem with Josie Osborne. The program brings together more than 20 community partners in the Milwaukee area to help teachers and students. She leads the award-winning Milwaukee Vision Areas Project, an after-school program that inspires middle and high school students to tell their stories through video and animation. A colleague shared that, quote, "Kim defines community engagement. She's an exceptional communicator, and her ability to build long-term relationships with the community is at the heart of her practice. She's the type of person who makes everyone around her feel welcome and valued. Her work, especially with LGBTQ+ high school students, is the type of practice that simply changes the lives of young people," unquote. We sincerely thank you, Kim, for your extraordinary public service. Would you please come forward and receive your award?
Our next award this afternoon are the Office of Research Outstanding Creative Research Awards. 2 UWM faculty members are being honored for creative research. Each of the recipients will receive a certificate and a $1,500 award from the Anna Casper Endowment at the UWM Foundation. Presenting these awards today is Vice Provost for Research, Mark Harris.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Sheila Faye Shaw has a background in ethnomusicology and cross-country cultural music education. Her research has expanded to focus on the role of music in language learning and retention and cultural transmission in multiple contexts, such as in Chinese, Ghanaian, and Native American cultures. Dr. Faye Shaw has been working with the Electric Cooney Institute for American Indian Education to provide musical transcriptions of traditional songs for the public resource Ojibwe Net. This effort has been supported by a National Endowment for the Arts grant. The work is challenging, even for a sophisticated musician, because working with non-Latinate language requires a sensitivity to cadence and rhythm, inflections, and intrinsic musical qualities of the language itself. The nominator said, Professor Faye Shaw has undertaken language study and significant engagement with the Native American community in the region. Sheila, will you please join me to accept this award? Associate Professor Jessica Granger is involved in both traditional, exhibition-based, and community-based research. She is presenting 2 solo exhibitions in the next year, Commute at the Alice Wiles Gallery this month, and Willow and Ware at Ripon College in February 2023. Her community-engaged research provides students, artists, and community members opportunities to engage in meaningful artistic research. She is currently working to develop a community-based creative research center to link research, innovation, and education in art. Dr. Mary Granger is part of a team that secured research funding, including a 2021 National Science Foundation grant for $2.8 million in support of Watermarks, an art science framework for community-engaged learning and environmental stewardship. Programming includes workshops, community engagement and exhibitions focused on themes of water, biodiversity, health, public art, and community. You made quite an impression with your work, Jessica. Will you please come forward?
UWM faculty members are being honored for outstanding research and scholarship as recipients of the Research Awards. Each of the recipients will receive a certificate and a $1,500 award. This marks the 44th consecutive year that UWM has presented these awards, with funds generously provided by the Anna Casper Endowment at the UWM Foundation. Presenting these awards are Mark Harris.
Thanks, Jill. In addition to acknowledging the funding support we received for these awards, I would like to thank the Committee of UWM Distinguished Professor for its work in evaluating the nominations and making recommendations. Associate Professor Rachel Bloom Kojar work focuses on the communication among people in healthcare settings who speak different languages and represent different cultures. Her book, Translanguaging Outside the Academy, Negotiating Rhetoric in Healthcare in the Spanish Caribbean, was based on research at a healthcare clinic in the Dominican Republic. It was widely praised for its outstanding quality and was published as part of the Studies in Writing and Rhetoric series, associated with the National Council of Teachers of English. She has collaborated with other scholars and community partners to research and write about Latinx health promoters of reproductive justice. One of Dr. Pojar's nominators said, "She has been recognized by scholars in her field of research as a rising star in the study of the rhetoric of medicine and health." Congratulations, Rachel. Will you please join me to accept this award? Associate Professor Shalista Campos Castillo has made strong research contributions to the fields of medical sociology, social psychology, health policy, mental health, race, and ethnicity. Her work explores how disparities lead to low trust and elevated privacy risks help produce institutionalized discrimination. She is prolific, with 5 peer-reviewed articles published in 2021 alone, and is currently the principal investigator on grants from Facebook and the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and is the co-principal investigator for a National Endowment of the Arts Grant. A nominator said, "Occasionally, faculty will slow down briefly after earning tenure, take a breath, and reassemble the next stages of the research agenda." For Professor Campos Castillo, there has been no slowing down, and she continues to ask and publish on vital questions with profound relevance for people's health and well-being. Will you please come forward to this? Associate Professor Ann Teicher investigates how speech-sound structure is represented and processed in the mind. In addition to publication in top journals, quoted and published in a variety of non-scholarly publications. She has written 10 articles for Scientific American on creative and practical linguistic issues, such as the linguistic components of autism and Parkinson's disease, and how agriculture may have shaped language. When the pandemic slowed down overall research activities, she and her colleagues conducted a timely project on how speaking style and speech communication are affected by wearing a face mask. That research received extensive press coverage. A colleague said, "The key to what makes Ann's work truly special and worthy of acknowledgement is the fact that Ann has brought some of the findings of her work to a lay readership. This is something that not many academics can do, and to my knowledge is accomplished by few, if any, linguists. Ann, would you please come to the stage?"
Our next series of recognition today is for the Office of Research UWM Foundation Senior Faculty Research Awards. These awards are designed to recognize researchers who have had a long, I emphasize long history of significant contributions to their field of research. Our three recipients for each receive a certificate and $1,500 award from the Anna Casper Endowment at the UWM Foundation. And again, Mark Harris will distribute these awards.
And thanks again. Professor of Chemistry and Biochemistry, David Frick, is an innovative scholar who focuses on the study of viral proteins to discover new antiviral drugs. His research has looked at the hepatitis C virus, dengue virus, West Nile virus, and the SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. One nominator said, "This research is internationally recognized for its contributions to improving our fundamental understanding of the biochemistry of viruses." Dr. Frick has published 76 peer-reviewed articles in top journals, such as Biochemistry and ACS Chemical Biology. He also takes time to work with graduate and undergraduate students, as well as with colleagues across other departments. Another supporter says, "Dr. Frick has extended his helping hand, appreciated my science, reviewed my grant, and provided me with constructive criticism. He speaks and understands science, not only his own, but also in other research fields." Congratulations and thank you, David. Would you please come to the stage? Zelazo is a professor of psychology whose research focuses on adolescent brain development, particularly the impact of addiction and potential mitigating factors. She is a local principal investigator and a central national collaborator on the Adolescent Brain and Cognitive Development Project. This project is the largest longitudinal, multi-site pediatric neuroimaging study of its kind, involving more than 11,800 young people at 21 research sites nationally. She contributed to the study's design and is now chair of the Substance Use Work Group. She is able to translate her research findings for the general public and policymakers with rapidly changing laws related to cannabis use, e-cigarettes, and the opioid epidemic. This type of public health research is particularly timely. A nominator said, "This study will be the basis for much of our scientific discovery of adolescent development, psychopathology, and addiction for the next 20 or more years." Congratulations and thank you, Krista. Will you please come to the stage?
So that's why I mean long. Okay. The next commendation this afternoon is for the Academic Staff Outstanding Teaching Award. The award includes a certificate and $1,500 for these awards. We welcome to the podium Interim Provost Scott Cronin.
Well, thanks, Gia, and it's so rewarding to be able to honor these members of our staff. In many very different ways, they each are contributing to the success of our students, and they really represent and highlight how our staff is truly dedicated to making sure our students reach their goals. Jonathan Bruce teaches courses in comparative ethnic studies program, but also works with the MKA Scholars, Bridge programs, and is the Associate Director of Cultures and Communities. Jonathan has also designed courses illuminating the history of Milwaukee and the ways that popular culture shapes identity. In addition to working with cultures and communities, Jonathan works with the Writing Center as a tutor and is highly respected by colleagues and students there. Since 2011, Jonathan has tutored 1,750 writers at various levels in many subjects in more than 4,000 sessions. That is truly. Colleagues said Jonathan helps writers not only create and improve their current product, but to help them become more skilled and confident writers as they move forward to the next project. Jonathan's not able to join us today, but let's give him a round of applause. Jennifer Hauser-Coons is continually updating her courses to reflect feedback from students and the latest evidence-based teaching practices. The courses she teaches provide a foundation for psychology majors and minors. Jennifer focused on making classwork interesting and relevant to her students. She focused on developing statistical literacy, becoming informed customers of statistical data, rather than making just computation the sole focus of the course. A student said, she stands out in my memory as an educator who's interested in both immersing students in the material at hand, while also pointing towards future uses of that material. She made a point to translate examples of course content into real-world scenarios, and that students would be able to encounter as they went on to become researchers and clinicians. You made quite an impression on your students. Jennifer, will you please come forward?
Three individuals are being recognized this afternoon with the Academic Staff Outstanding Performance and Service Award. These people are recognized for continuing excellence in their assigned duties, plus in their service to the university, community, and professional organizations. The awards include $1,500 for each recipient, and Scott Ronald will present.
Thanks, Gia. Kyla Escara has been instrumental in the nationally recognized success of UWM's undergraduate research program. Over the years, she served as associate and deputy and now interim director of the Office of Undergraduate Research. In addition to helping connect students with research opportunities at UWM, Kyla has been instrumental in developing innovations that have increased the opportunities for our students. In 2008, she developed the UR at UWM Summer Research Program for incoming students. I was at a ceremony for that this summer, an exceptional opportunity for our students. She's currently leading the UWM and MCW Cancer Center Partnership Program, helping build pathways to cancer-centered research for our undergraduate students. During the pandemic, as chair of the Academic Staff Committee, she rose to numerous challenges that were faced by academic staff and was a wonderful partner in our response to the pandemic. A supporter said, from my perspective in campus leadership, as a faculty member, I can say that Kyla's exceptional organizational skills and her grace and fortitude under pressure were consistently on display that year. This is how far the problem separating babies outside. Congratulations, Kyla. Please. Oversees 4 of UWM sports programs: men's soccer, men's and women's swimming and diving, and women's basketball. In addition, she leads the athletic department's student athlete support service units for academic sports, sports medicine, strength, conditioning, nutrition, sport, and mental health services. During the pandemic, Kathy collaborated closely with university partners to elevate mental health programming and services to meet the needs of student athletes. She also established a strong and sustainable diversity, equity, and inclusion program within the department, helping address culture and inclusion within each of the athletic teams. She not only takes part in numerous campus service activities herself, but also encourages student athletes to do the same. Supporters said Kathy is among a group of dedicated UWM staff who are taking personal and professional actions to make a significant difference in UWM's DEI. Will you please come to the stage, Kathy? Skills in data management and interpersonal communication to ensure that UWM and students from abroad are complying with all immigration and sponsorship regulations. As coordinator of the Student and Exchange Visitor Information System, she works closely with international students. She assists with a new software platform to help international students make requests on those documents. When the pandemic hit, to develop a Canvas course for international students. Orientation Day, UWM, one of the very first in the nation to offer a virtual orientation from its academic career center. As Porter said, Lauren was one who thought through the process first, contributed to the content, solved the technical problem, and worked with the team together to make it happen. She's the type of leader who does not just think of ideas, she gets them done. What a wonderful thing to be said about someone working at a university. I would like to congratulate Ms. Porter.
The next award this afternoon is for the Advisor of the Year. It recognizes the important role of advising with retention and graduation. This award includes a certificate and $1,500, and Scott will present.
Thanks again, Chia. Maggie Plath has helped develop innovative recruiting approaches in addition to advising students in the School of Information Studies. She's worked with others to create an information science and technology career discovery digital learning environment. This tool is a bridge to local schools and community organizations, allowing them to help their students and clients learn more about web graphics, artificial intelligence, information security, cloud computing, and other career areas. Maggie served as co-chair of the Enhancing Advising Committee and now serves as co-chair of the Advisory Professional Development Committee. She's an active member of the Moonshot Connect Initiative work group. A nominator said Maggie is empathetic, encouraging, and empowering. She does hold students accountable for taking responsibility in their academic pursuits, but is with them the whole way, providing the advice, guidance, and options for students to make the best decisions for themselves. What a perfect description of what an advisor does and should do at UWM. Congratulations, Maggie.
With the University Staff Outstanding Service Award. We will learn of their extraordinary performances that have led to significant impact on the university. Each will receive $1,500 along with their awards. Presenting these awards is Robin Van Hartman, who is our Senior Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administrative Affairs.
Thank you, Gia. It's my great honor to be here today. And as Scott noted earlier about our academic staff awardees, all of our university staff award winners also contribute significantly to UWM's mission and strategic goals, especially our ability to serve students. Justin Almquist plays a key support role in the Department of Rehabilitation Sciences and Technology. Justin helped manage reaccreditation tasks for the Master of Science in Occupational Therapy degree and has helped organize accreditation visits, graduation events, and large conferences for his department. Justin worked to improve application processes to benefit students and created a new application pathway to the Occupational Therapy Masters. He also supports the department's communication with students and maintains records. Over the years, Justin has reorganized the way records are kept to better support the master's program and accreditation requirements. A supporter said, his work on this task demonstrated his eye for detail and willingness to learn, which has been vital over the last 5 years. Justin, please come forward and allow us to show our appreciation with this identifying the need for greater operational safety and guidance, and more oversight of the potential hazards in the school's labs and studios. A nominator said, PJ has worked to increase the safety culture at Peck School of the Arts through guidance, training, and being a consistent safety resource for faculty, staff, and students. With the onset of COVID-19, PJ served on a case management team that determined when employees could safely return to on-site work. When the University Safety and Emergency Preparedness Officer retired, he was called on to continue providing safety guidance and training during the interim. PJ has worked to standardize art safety practices across UWM, influencing other art areas beyond Peck, including the College of General Studies and the Union Studios Arts and Crafts. Thank you so much, PJ. Will you please come forward and accept this award? UWM's faculty and staff from in-person to online and hybrid events. She provided training on how to use virtual platforms and helped run events such as Faculty Senate and CIO town hall meetings. She also played a key role in choosing and testing equipment and coordinating with users and IT staff in doing installations. When student employees weren't available, she worked late to ensure classroom tech support was available. In addition, she has served as the treasurer of the African Diaspora Council, helping that organization create an electronic platform to receive funds, including for the school supplies drive for La Follette School in Milwaukee. A nominator said, she is a go-getter, meaning that she accepts an assignment and completes it above average, is observant, and has always worked on what is needed, not just what was requested, and did so with a congenial team spirit. And I have to say, Khadijah has helped me many times, and I regularly get notes about her service, including today from a senior lecturer. You've made quite an impression, Khadijah. Will you please join me on stage? Is as a police officer and a police leader. And so he was used to overseeing security for events and helping assure the safety of the campus community. When the pandemic hit, he found himself learning about public health and taking on even more leadership responsibilities. A supporter said he worked tirelessly to quickly educate himself and collaborated with multiple disciplines to develop and coordinate an effective response mitigation and management plan for a circumstance never before seen in our university's history. As co-incident commander of the university's Emergency Operations Center, he worked with 100 colleagues from all over campus to help keep students and staff as safe as possible from the virus and arranged for COVID-19 testing and vaccination sites on campus. And I will say those arrangements were unprecedented and extensive and could not have been accomplished without Brian's remarkable skills and dedication. In addition to his regular police duties and his work with the EOC, Brian also served as interim police chief from February to November of 2022. Will you all please join me in a round of applause as we welcome Lieutenant Spaights to the stage.
As many of you know, Joanne Mazurko was a lecturer in the Lubar School of Business who passed away 10 years ago. This award has since been established in her memory to recognize innovation in the effective use of learning technologies to promote student engagement and collaboration, active learning, and critical thinking. Recipients of this award receive $1,500. Here to tell us about this year's award recipient is Chancellor Morton.
Thank you, Chia. Good afternoon again. I want you to know Joanne Mazurko was mighty special, and this is an incredible honor. Joanne was an award-winning instructor. She was a student in our School of Business for several years and then went on to do a great job teaching for us. And it was an example of a loss that happened way too soon. She was an excellent teacher. Many of you who work with her know the love that we felt, how much her students were admired her, and what a difference she made. So this is a very important honor for our campus. I want to tell you about our recipient, who has a remarkable background and impact on us today. Well before she became the interim director for the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning last August, Sarah Rufragetti, she used technology also to create highly effective communication classes. She designs Canvas courses and sites with deliberate structure and scaffolded assignments to focus students on learning. She incorporates video conferencing technology to develop meaningful in-person and remote learner discussions. As the campus that leads not just the University of Wisconsin system, but the campus that leads Wisconsin in remote and online learning, this is vitally important, and we're so pleased to be able to recognize Sarah's achievements and contributions in this area. She does a lot with virtual platforms to incorporate guest visits from prominent researchers, bringing those experts from around the world into classes here today. When COVID-19 disrupted communication internships, she adapted to help students persist by moving some internships remotely and finding work alternatives for others. I can't tell you the number of employers who appreciate this type of adaptation and evolution as we continue to do that today. An undergraduate student said, quote, "It was because of her innovation that COVID became a less scary and daunting time for me, that I had a course that I look forward to every week amongst all the uncertainty," unquote. That's high praise. Will you all please help me congratulate Sarah as she makes her way to the stage.
The final award this afternoon is the 2022 Ernest Spaights Plaza Award, and we have an unprecedented 7 honorees. On a side note, I just finished helping to co-edit the diversity history book for UWM, and having learned so much about him just brings a deeper appreciation for all that he did and the lasting impact that he's having on campus. So that's not part of the script, but. The Ernest Spaights Plaza, the open air north of the Student Union area, is named in honor of the late Ernest Spaights. He was a professor of educational psychology and assistant chancellor for student affairs from 1970 to 1979. He initiated the Department of Learning Skills and the experimental program in higher education and played a major role in developing programs programs for minority and disadvantaged students at UWM. Since that time, the two organizations were reorganized, renamed, and eventually combined. It was known as the Academic Opportunity Center for many years, then it changed the name to the Office of Central Advising. Today, it is known as Pathway Advising. But very true to its origins, the Pathway Advising provides access to UWM students who have academic potential, but whose previous experience in education may not have adequately prepared for them to be here in college. Each year since 1994, the UWM community has been invited to nominate individuals who have made significant impact, enduring, and campus-wide contributions to the growth and development of our university. The Honorary Degrees Committee reviews the nominees and chooses the individuals who will receive the award. All of the individuals who are being honored today have their names have been mounted on the bronze plate and affixed to the permanent marker on the west side of the Spaights Plaza. Today's honorees bring the total number of Spaights Plaza honorees to 108. In addition to this on-campus recognition, a plaque that highlights the achievements of the 2022 award winners has been prepared and will be given today. Presenting the 2022 Ernest Spaights Plaza honorees is again Chancellor Morning.
Thank you, Chia. Sorry about well, competing here. I can't come close to matching your incredible quality here. It's pretty rare. If you think about the history of our campus, 108 individuals. These are special individuals, and as I say all the time, it's the people who impact thousands of others' lives here. Oftentimes, as you drive down, whether it's today, Kenwood Avenue, or you go across different areas of the campus, you see a new building, you see renovations, and that gets a lot of attention. But really, it's what happens inside the buildings and in labs and in classrooms and all the areas in which we have our impact that matter. And it's the people that we're honoring today as Sullivan Spaights Plaza awardee winners that really do deserve such incredible recognition. These are the Ernest Spaights Plaza honorees. It's very, very special. As Chancellor, it's my privilege to tell you about these individuals. First, Dennis Bennett's research is internationally recognized for its contributions to improving the fundamental understanding of chemistry. This was critical in helping our campus attain our top-tier Research 1 status that I mentioned earlier. Dennis is also a gifted teacher, working with classes from first-year to graduate students. His intellectual curiosity led him to work with a colleague to develop a new blood testing method that became the foundation of a successful company. Dr. Bennett set up a lab to use X-rays to study the structures of materials, especially inorganic compounds. In his more than 200 publications, he has shown a knack for making difficult concepts understandable. The textbook he wrote on understanding single crystal X-ray crystallography is considered a classic in the field. Until Dennis's book came out, there was no textbook on the subject that was at once rigorous and readable. He brought that same clarity to the classes that he taught, constantly searching for better ways to present the material to majors and non-majors alike. With Jim Ockos, Dennis developed a new methodology providing a better way to assess heart disease risk based on blood signals detected through nuclear magnetic resonance, and he created the software needed to test the idea. The project led to several patents, NIH grants, and founding the company LipoScience, now part of LabCorp, which grew to produce revenues in excess of $50 million a year. Even after retirement, Dennis continues to make scholarly contributions. He's currently writing a book entitled Atoms, with a second volume entitled Polyatoms as planned. Dennis, it's my honor to call you forward as the first recipient this year for our Spaights Plaza Awards. The late Ed Burgess brought creativity, knowledge, and leadership to the university's dance program. He was also an integral part of Milwaukee's dance and arts community. He came to UWM after a successful touring and informational and international teaching career and became one of the founders of the university's dance program. He was also one of the founders of an innovative graduate program that former professional dancers preparing for a second career in higher education used. He was uncompromising in the classroom while respecting individuality and freedom of expression. His own joy in physical movement and sense of humor often found him walking around the studio in a handstand. Imagine that. He served on numerous academic committees and worked tirelessly to bring the contributions of diverse groups into dance. As a Native American who spent part of his early years on the Oklahoma reservation, he incorporated Native themes into his choreography and also reached out to the LGBTQ+ community. He created safe spaces for students at UWM and brought diverse representation to local stages. He contributed to the Milwaukee theater and dance community, choreographing, directing, and performing with organizations such as the Milwaukee Repertory Theater, Wild Space Dance Company, Theater Gigant, and others. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel named him both Performer of the Year, 2011 in Dance, and Choreographer of the Year. The many students he mentored continue to inspire dance and theater companies across the country with the enthusiasm and work ethic Ed modeled for them. It's my honor to invite Danny Kipper, who is an alumna and former dance faculty member, to accept Ed Burgess's posthumous Spaights Plaza Award. Danny, will you please come to the stage? Dr. Randy Lambert served as Dean of the College of Health Sciences from 1999 to 2009. In dog years, that was about 87. And we have dog years for deans and triple dog years for provosts and quadruple for chancellor. We figured this out. So he served 11 years, but his educational contributions and passion for research have been felt campus-wide and continue to this day. His legacy includes significant accomplishments from the collaborative expansion of health sciences programs and building of new facilities to the growth of community partnerships and financial support for students. With a PhD in medical microbiology and immunology from UW-Madison, he joined the UWM faculty in 1988. Randy chaired the UW System and City Feasibility Committee exploring the establishment of a graduate program in public health in Milwaukee. He subsequently secured a $10 million philanthropic gift in 2009 to launch the Joseph J. Silver School of Public Health, the first and only accredited school of public health in Wisconsin. As dean, he worked with department leaders to help develop new graduate programs and promote the concept of collaborative research centers and partnerships. These include the Center for Urban Population Health, helping UWM secure $20 million from the UW System for the design and construction of a rehabilitation center in the pavilion, which today hosts programs in physical therapy and sports medicine. He supported the Rehabilitation Research Design and Disability Center, a multi-million-dollar entity that's received continuous funding since its inception. Dr. Lambert was committed to the success of faculty, staff, and students, and he was highly productive in fundraising to support scholarship activities and student scholarships. He led and leads today by example, personally funding the largest endowed academic scholarship in the college, later named by the faculty as the Randall S. Lambert Endowed Scholarship. Randy, you're a dear friend to the university, a special friend of mine. It's a great privilege to call you forward to receive the prestigious Spaights Plaza Award. This next emotional for many of us who are so near and close to being Ron Perez. He never shied away from volunteering to fill a leadership void. It's probably one of the things that we recognize and remember Ron for the most. When he took the role of interim dean at the Zilber School of Public Health, he was an outsider. He was an engineer. Can you imagine? No public health background. An engineering faculty, associate dean, campus leader, but no public health background. He was a leader, though, who was so clearly committed to UWM in the school that the faculty asked him to be named to the role permanently. Think about the dynamics that would lead to that. It does not happen very often at all anywhere. Dr. Perez joined the Zilber School after serving as Associate Dean of Academic and Student Affairs, one of multiple roles that he had over many years at a College of Engineering and Applied Science. He brought with him a wealth of administrative experience and expertise in relationship building. It was because of Ron that the Zilber School successfully navigated its first round of accreditation, began building an undergraduate program which was critical to its sustainability, and fostered successful relationships with multiple centers and multiple donors. He played a significant part in forming Partners for Health, a health school consolidation effort that had previously failed at UWM. Partners for Health was jointly created by Ron Sisler, then Dean of the College of Health Sciences, and Kim Litwack, Dean of the College of Nursing. Through Partners for Health, the colleges were able to advance research through shared administration, establish research groups in geriatrics and community and population health, and offer joint student community experiences at a local public housing project. The strengths of the relationships he formed became the foundation of UWM's health school realignment. One other aspect that Ron contributed to in a significant way was as one of the most instrumental and effective co-leads of our work to merge the UW colleges, our Waukesha County and Washington County campuses with UWM. This was a significant undertaking, massive amounts of work, and as many people said to me, many thoughtful and oftentimes critical opinion leaders said, you picked the right person for helping lead this effort, because with Ron Perez, things are going to be successful, and they certainly have been. So it's my honor to invite Ron's daughter, Kennedy, to the stage to accept Ron Perez's posthumous Spaights Plaza Award. Professor Emerita of German, is a superb teacher, scholar, colleague, and supporter of UWM. Her scholarship and scholarly work focuses on the Holocaust, rescuing voices from the ashes of history. One of the central themes that she shared in her research and teaching was the need to remember the human lives at the center of historical events. She explored the overlooked, underappreciated, and personal. Ruth wrote several books, including a memoir about growing up in Northern Ireland. Her most recent book, published this year, focuses on Stuha, a concentration camp near the Polish city of Gdansk. This camp had previously been little known outside of Poland. The book explored the consequences of Nazi ideology, initially on the local community of Poles, Germans, and Jews, and then extending to the occupied territories. Ruth was instrumental in the development of Holocaust studies at UWM. Her work was instrumental in building the certificate in Holocaust, Genocide, and Human Rights Studies, and put in place a foundation for the Stahl Center for Jewish Studies. Colleagues and students remember her as an inspiring student-centered teacher, sharing her love of German language, literature, and culture in her decades-long career. A firm supporter of her colleagues in the Department of Foreign Languages and Literature, Dr. Schwartberger and her family have been generous in their financial support for student awards and faculty research and travel. She today is helping fund German students and faculty efforts to translate an important collection of Holocaust-era letters. Ruth, it's my honor to call you forward as an esteemed recipient of this year's Spaights Plaza Award. Zelazo's long career embodied UWM's dual core values of top-tier research and educational access for underrepresented groups. As a professor of sociology for 35 years, his service, research, and mentoring were extensive. He became a leader studying the sociology of Latino education with a focus on trying to understand why Latino students succeed or fail in school. Because of this, Dr. Velez saw connections between curriculum and Latino student recruitment and retention at UWM, and he worked to make sure students would see themselves reflected in their studies. He helped create a certificate in Latino studies and led an effort to expand curricular offerings on Latino studies at UWM, resulting in the creation of a new major, Latin American, Caribbean, and U.S. Latin Studies. He was instrumental in the creation of UWM's Roberto Hernandez Center, and he served as its interim director twice. His scholarship has impacted both the campus and the greater Hispanic community in Milwaukee and well beyond. He was one of the co-authors of Latino Milwaukee, a statistical portrait of the UWM Center for Economic Development. The information in that work led to the UWM and Marquette University aspiring to attain the status of Hispanic-serving institutions. For many years, William served as a faculty member for the Federal Alumnaire Program at UWM. Along with Joseph Rodriguez, professor of history, he wrote a chapter on the history of Latinos at UWM in the book that was recently published, Telling Our Stories, A History of Diversity at UWM, 1956 to 2022. William, I am honored to bestow to you one of this year's Distinguished Spaights Plaza Awards. Will you please come forward? During his 36 years at UWM, whenever David Yu was asked to contribute, he did, and the university and community are better because of it. In addition to a successful career as a researcher and educator, Dr. Yu, Professor Emeritus of Electrical Engineering, was a talented administrative leader. Over the years, he served as his department's chair, Associate Dean for Research in the College of Engineering and Applied Science, and Interim Dean of the Graduate School. As Associate Dean in college, he developed initiatives to boost graduate student enrollment across departments. He stepped in to lead the graduate school at a critical time when it was growing its doctoral program offerings for the first time in more than 2 decades. David led the graduate school in a reorganization and set the university on a path to achieving our R1 status. He also forged important collaborations between the graduate school and the Center for International Education to increase campus enrollment of international students and form partnerships with numerous institutions in various countries. The relationships he built in China and Taiwan are still active and benefiting UWM faculty and students. These partnerships resulted in several high-profile international internships. 2 of these were with Rockwell in Shanghai, in collaboration with Shanghai Jiao Tong University, and an international co-op program with Foxconn in Taiwan, in collaboration with Chunghwan Christian University. These allowed UWM students to get experience working in a truly global setting. David, it's my honor to call you forward as the final recipient of this year's Scholars for Spaights Plaza Award. That concludes our award ceremony, but our celebration continues. We'll have a reception across the hall in room 230. I think you've been there and know the area pretty well, but you'll see where we're going. You're also all invited to gather at our fire circle, which is located in front of Merrill Hall, to honor and remember our two colleagues, Ed Burgess, who is a member of the Cherokee Nation and Creek community, as well as Ron Perez from the Dominican Republic, who spent many years with us at UWM and left us way too soon. There will be a brief informal ceremony at 4:30 if you're interested in attending, and that's right along Hartford Avenue in front of Merrill Hall. My thanks to Chia Bang for keeping our program on schedule. Chia, wonderful job. There's a lot of staff members, a lot of individuals who really helped put this program together before and during and will help us after. But I do want to give a special thanks and shout out to Tammy Howard, the Secretary of the University of Wisconsin. Tammy, there's extensive logistics and a lot of work that goes into putting this together, and there's just so many details. We're very, very grateful for your work. I do also want to give a quick shout out to Glenn Nixon for her help on this script. She wrote this, so she's not going to ever put herself in. She's so modest. It was incredible work in terms of all the different materials. Let's hear it for Glenn. I now ask all of our award winners, all the people who have made and continue to make UWM so special, so great, so well recognized, please rise so we can offer you a final round of applause, and please come to the stage afterward for a group photo. Thank you.